Hillary Clinton spent last night fundraising for a third day in the upscale beach towns of the Hamptons in New York. The final stop was a star-studded affair. According to pool reports, Hillary Clinton danced with Sir Paul McCartney while Jimmy Buffett played Cheeseburger in Paradise at his home. The night reportedly ended with the former Beatle, Buffett, and John Bon Jovi singing Hey Jude. But while that was happening, there was more news about her use of private email. The State Department revealed yesterday it has found as many as 30 additional emails from her server that may be related to the Benghazi attacks. Those emails came from the cache of 15,000 the FBI had to recover forensically, but some could be duplicates. Later today, the FBI may release their report that they handed over to the Justice Department, not recommending charges against Clinton, which could include agent notes. And last night, Donald Trump did not miss the opportunity to go after Clinton's credibility.
The only way to learn the full depth of her public corruption is to read the 33,000 emails that she deleted. They're gone. She bleached, which somebody said they never even heard of, in a very expensive fashion, used chemical so that nobody will ever be able to see him. Who does this? Who does this? Now today, another 30 emails were discovered by the State Department that Hillary Clinton failed to turn over. These were emails about Benghazi. It just never ends with the Clintons.
And the New York Times editorial board is calling on the Clinton Foundation to stop taking foreign and corporate money right now. They write in part, quote this, "Does the new batch of previously undisclosed State Department emails prove that big money donors to Bill, Hillary, and Chelsea Clinton Foundation got special favors from Mrs. Clinton while she was Secretary of State? Not so far. But that the question arises yet again points to a need for major changes at the foundation now, before the November election. Simply closing the foundation, as even some Democrats recommend, could kill programs helping tens of thousands of people, and its plans to restrict its funding sources only after the election will likely dog Mrs. Clinton. A wiser course would be to ban contributions from foreign and corporate entities now. If Mrs. Clinton wins, Bill and Chelsea Clinton should both end their operation and involvement in the foundation and its affiliates for the duration of her presidency. Achieving true distance from the foundation is not only necessary to ensure its effectiveness, it is an ethical imperative for Mrs. Clinton, laid out, Joe, by the New York Times. I don't know how many different ways this can come at the Clintons to say, come on, this is causing problems for you. But I guess my bigger question is about the State Department. Why can't they figure this out? Why can't they find these things? Where is the State Department on this? It's just sort of some place where things gets lost? Right. I don't understand.
Yeah, the emails do keep trickling out. And David Ignatius, it's a 1-2 punch for the Clintons this morning. And the question is, how do you just find 30 more emails regarding Benghazi? Conspiracy theorists are going to be swirling for some time about that. But you take that side, the emails keep coming, plus the Clinton Foundation. Now you have a series of mainstream media outlets and outlets center-left that are making the same suggestion, that the Clintons should step away from their foundation. What's your read on it? Do you think they should, and do you think ultimately they will?
It's a steady drip, drip, drip of these stories that call into question her honesty and reliability. Anybody who knows the State Department would not find it surprising that you could lose thousands of documents in that institution, including these emails. It's unfortunate. I doubt myself that unless there are major new revelations, either of these issues is going to move the needle enough in the groups that Trump needs to really make a difference in the election. I mean, the people who were shocked by emails for whom Benghazi is a sort of trigger point, those people are already Trump supporters. On this question of the Clinton Foundation, the New York Times is absolutely right. It is it's outrageous to have someone running for president of the United States have her husband raising money from foreign governments, from wealthy foreign individuals who want to influence the United States. It's just wrong. And I think anybody can feel that. And I don't understand for the life of me why, when she said that she won't do this as president, just stop it now. Not because it's good politics, because it's the right thing to do.
Mike?
Willie?
Or
Mike? Go ahead, Mike.
Mike, Willie, Mike.
Well, you know, off of David's point, I thoroughly agree with David Ignatius, but I mean, the history of the Clintons is, and it was the history when Hillary Clinton became Secretary of State and assumed office in January of 2009, and they supposedly had an agreement that there would be no conflict of interest with the foundation going forward, and by April of that year, there was some difficulties with former President Bill Clinton and the foundation and money and access and the Secretary of State. The Clintons have always operated under the premise, look, we're going to do good things. Just so don't worry about us. You know, there'll be some little ripples in the lake, but we're doing good things, and stop questioning our motives.
There's been so much information over the last year or more about the emails and now about the Clinton Foundation flooded through every day through the press that it becomes this cloud. And I think the American voting public in many ways can't remember exactly what happened this day and what happened the next day. So it becomes this big thing that you can't really get your arms around. But the bottom line is, people need to ask themselves, common sense test. Was it a good idea as Secretary of State, Joe, to set up a private server in your home on which you knew there was going to be classified material passing?
No.
Was it a good idea when you became Secretary of State to keep your relationship with the Clinton Foundation knowing there would be conflicts of interest? Was that a good idea? Did it pass the common sense test for you as a voter?
And, you know, Mika, they still have not broken free in a dramatic way to send a message to the American people that they get it. There is a reason why we still have Donald Trump, who's just had a horrific month and a half since the convention, as bad as any major national candidate in modern American history. And yet, shockingly, if you look at these polls, these four-way polls, he's still 3-4 points behind. This race is still within a shot. For Democrats that say the foundation doesn't matter and other things don't matter, that Clinton's integrity doesn't matter, her perception doesn't matter. Well, perception is reality here. And she and the family need to stand before a bank of microphones tomorrow. Sometime soon, do something dramatic. This race should not be as close as it is.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton should be up by double digits right now against a man who, as you said, is all over the place, doesn't follow his directions, ignores his staff, ignores his family, ignores his political party. They know he's going down in flames. And yet, you look at these recent polls, he's within 3 or 4 points, and Hillary Clinton is losing 2, 3, 4 points over the past month in every poll. There's a reason she needs to wake up and understand she could still lose this race.
There's a reason, Joe, and these are the reasons. There's no other reason. She's prepared. She actually makes sense when she makes speeches. She's measured. She cares about the country. She's been serving for decades and saying a lot of the same things about what she thinks is important for this country for decades and fighting for people for decades. Those are the reasons her candidacy is impaired. Those are the reasons. There are no others. And we've been saying this, along with many others, for years. So that's why I don't understand why they can't get in front. I don't understand
I'll tell you why, because it would be bad optics. Clearly, David's point, let me finish.
Nothing would be worse optically than something coming out at the last second.
I know, but at this point, it's too far down the road. An admission of guilt, for lack of a better word, I think would open the doors for Trump to say, you see, and now finally changes are happening. Unfortunately, she's got to stumble over the finish line. It's too late to do that.
But
Donnie,
at this point. We're not talking about an admission of guilt. We're just doing what the New York Times editorial page and others left-leaning outlets have asked her to do. Step away.
Just stop.
You can say, listen, we're doing great work for the Clinton Foundation.
It's the right thing.
Let me tell you what we did over the past year. We don't think we need to do this, but enough of our friends and supporters have stepped forward and asked us to do it that we're going to do this for the good of the country.
I agree. It's the right thing to do, but if I'm managing her campaign, I think it's the wrong thing to do, just as far as her campaign goes.
Really?
Yes, I do. It's obviously the right thing to do. At this point in time, I think it even draws more headlights to it. Wrong thing to do.
Pretty depressing. There's nothing else. So these are the issues with that campaign. We have been saying it for months. Mike?
I just think, you know, out there in the larger public, away from this table, away from TV, away from the media, very few people, I think, are interested in what goes on with the Clinton global stuff and everything like that. But I disagree with you, Donnie. I think if they stepped up to the plate and said, look, there's been a lot of smoke around this, a lot of controversy around this. We understand it. We get it. We're going to bring in an independent person to run the thing, and we're out of it starting right now.
I know.
I need to take exception, Mike, with something that you've said, because you've said that and others have said that about emails, that nobody cares about the emails. Nobody cares about the emails. Nobody cares about the foundation. And her approval ratings have plummeted down into the high 30s, low 30s, high 20s. They may not know the specifics of it.
It's just one more thing with them.
No,
But don't you think it is weighing? I think it's weighing her down, and you know, starting the campaign with a dramatic statement, and the campaign starts after Labor Day. You don't think that would make a big difference?
No, I think it would make a difference, but I think the email, the home server, the foundation, I think it's all part of the baggage that the Clintons have lugged across the landscape of this country for 30 years. I don't think it's one specific thing. I think it's just an additional
But you know what, people, when they get out there in the ether in today's headline, it's 30 emails, Benghazi hidden. That doesn't help. Sorry, 30 missing emails about Benghazi? That just doesn't help.
It's still mushier and gushier.
No, it's not mushy.
It's mushier
than
Trump's soundbite.
People are not that dumb.
Not a matter of dumb. What's baked in, people go, yes, she's untrustworthy. We get it. What's baked into Trump is he's dangerous and unstable.
Well, that's
unstable, Trump's untrustworthy. She's not changing untrustworthy
I'm
at this
just
point.
saying what we've been saying for over a year, even further, is that the email thing is big. It needs to be answered to. It needs to be completely transparent from the get-go. I guess she couldn't push the State Department to move along and get those emails out. I mean, what is...